So we know that filmmaking is a journey that has its own process from pre-production to the actual shoot all the way to post-production. And as a sound editor and sound designer, I will be talking about how sound is very, very important. It's an essential tool when it comes to filmmaking. So sound is just not about dialogue. Sound shapes the emotions, the atmosphere, and the tension when it comes to your project. Now, it can guide the audience emotions for suspense, joy, fear, and then there's a difference between a sound editor and a sound designer. A sound editor actually cleans up everything far as dialogue, sound effects. They can rearrange things. A sound designer actually creates sounds that don't exist, like creatures or futuristic tech sounds like lifesavers in Star Wars. And a sound designer don't just fix, dialogue, right? They enhance the auditory experience of a film. Now, the other important thing about sound is dialogue editing. I cannot stress this enough. Dialogue editing is very, very important. With bad or noisy dialogue, it can really ruin a scene or it could just ruin your project, period. It's very, very important to get clean audio when it comes on set, whether it's over with a boom mic or with a lavalier mic, however you want to capture it. It has to be crystal clear. Now, there will be some days, matter of fact, it's about 70 to 90%, 9 times out of 10, that sometimes ADR will be needed. ADR is automatic dialogue replacement, aka voiceover work. That happens when, let's say, for example, to where the day was so windy and we could not get that specific scene or dialogue and everything, but we will use the boom mic or lavalier mic as a reference to where we can actually voice over and dub those scenes or those takes. So actors will come in and re-record those lines, to the picture. Now there's ambiances. Those are background sounds within your film, far as like city soundscapes, winds, birds chirping, things in that nature. They create the environment of the film. And then layering sounds can also make it more, cinematic, basically. So, for example, when it comes to a certain scene, like let's say like a coffee shop. So a coffee shop, there will be people talking, right? There will probably be overhead music. You just never know. There will be a cashier ringing up something. Or, there'll be a scene to where a cut to where a coffee is being poured. We will pour that. And then the actual ringtone within that specific scene, layering all of those can help basically set the tone of the scene. And then of course there's music. Music is going to be down packed to music scores from the music composer, or sometimes there will be licensed music when it comes to a certain star, rapper, singer, and everything like that. We license the specific song, or to where an artist actually making this a song for that specific scene that goes on to your to your soundtrack and everything like that. So as a sound editor and a sound designer, my job at the end of the day is to actually make sure everything is balanced right, everything is mixed right, and there you have it. You'll have a perfect picture, right? And then also another thing too, there are Foley artists, right? There are Foley artists. There are people that recorded sounds every single day to, sync sound to the picture. So for example, there's a big old studio and the Foley artists will come in. They will pick out some of the merchandise in the back, whatever they have, whether it's cans, whether it's a broom, whether it's clothing or anything like that, and they will watch the specific scene and they will make those sounds organically, right? So even if it's a fight scene and there's somebody's grabbing the cloth of their jacket, they will use that cloth of a jacket just or something like that just to make that, that sound and everything like that. And that's another cool thing about sound as well. But overall, as a sound editor, sound designer, we have libraries as well. There's so many specific sites that you can actually download sound effects and music as well for local projects. But when you get to the big leagues, they use music composers and music scorers to have the music ready and everything like that. But I have my own specific library. Over 4 terabytes just sound of sound effects. And there are, websites that you can actually go to far as, download some of these sounds like boomlibrary.com. There's artlist.io. There's SoundSnap. There's plenty of, sound effect websites that you can actually go to. Oh, prosoundeffects.com. There's so many websites that you actually can download, add them to your library, and you can use them as well. And also, I like to go outside, have my recorder, whether it's my actual sound mixing recorder or it's my H&R recorder, Zoom recorder, and I can go outside and pick out, or record my own nature sounds, and I just put them in my library and put them in my folder as well. And then also when it comes down to also the post-production side as well, we also just make sure everything is leveled out as far as, there's specific dB levels or maxing the actual level or dB to where everything's supposed to be level at. Far as there's a different mixes between TV, there's a mix for theaters, and there's a separate mix for, YouTube and streaming services like that. So we all have those specific things, especially when it comes all the way down from the streaming points all the way up to, mixing at 5.1 to 7.1 surround sound. So that is the role of, of sound, how it's important to filmmaking. And if y'all have any questions or anything, where you can actually find some more sounds, or you have any mixing questions or anything like that, you're more than welcome to ask. And then also, don't forget, it doesn't matter what DAW that you would like to use to, mix and master your stuff. I usually like to use Pro Tools. Some people like to use Adobe Audition. Some people like to use Cubase. But it doesn't matter as long as you know how to use it, and you'll be good to go. So, episode 1 of how sound is very important when it comes to filmmaking. Next episode, I will go ahead and show you my process, my templates, or how I break everything down when it comes to mixing and mastering and everything like that. See you next time.